Okay, says we're live. Hopefully that is correct. Hello, welcome. We are not on the third sprint. We are not on sprints yet. Hello. How are we? I feel like we're a little. I still haven't changed my calendar, by the way. Sorry. Let me pull up the picture poll for today so that we can do that. And actually put the poll in the chat. Hello. Hello, welcome to Not Quite Ready. Would your main character rather go to an art museum or a tech exhibit? Smart. Art museum. It's not how you spell museum. Or tech exhibit. Start poll. Okay, there we go. Now the poll's ready. And here is. Here we go. Would your main character rather go to an art museum or a tech exhibit? Which would your main character rather go to? Becca says, hello. Hello, welcome. Can you hear the thunder? I wore my rainy day resin shrinky dink situation, like my window, my rain on window panes in honor of the weather that we've been having for the last couple of days and will continue to have for the next couple of days. Rachel slides in, ready to work. Excellent. Good. Carla is here and stream hopping. Excellent. Hop away. Monique says, hey, y'all. Hello. Welcome. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. It's also my mom's birthday, so happy birthday to Mama Dawdler. She's... so her birthday and Mother's Day always sort of like mesh together. But yeah, so yesterday we made split pea and ham soup. And then I made cornbread twice because I effed up and I used baking soda instead of baking powder. So the first pan went outside to feed the birds, and apparently for the raccoon, which we didn't know we had, because he came out in the daylight to eat some cornbread, some failed cornbread. So we apparently have a raccoon, and we also have 4 crows, not 3. So, and they were very happy with the cornbread. But yeah, then I made the second batch of cornbread, and it was correct. I also made a cake for her, so she had part of the cake yesterday, and she'll have part of the cake today. But yeah, so. Monique was able to schedule your appointments with your doctor, dentist, and dermatologist. Wow, look at you. That's amazing. I do have to make some appointments that I'm not looking forward to. Dentist being one of them. So yeah, I should do the same, but we're not going to right now because right now we're going to write. Kara says, of those 2 choices, the tech or the art museum, tech exhibit or the art, Mark would prefer the tech exhibit, but he'd rather go clubbing. Cheryl would like the tech exhibit, but the art museum would bring about introspection, which she does want. She's tired of clubbing. She's also tired of Mark, but she's stuck being married to him for 4 more years if she wants to fulfill her end of the contract and collect the money. Interesting. Carla is finishing editing the last 2 chapters so that you can get the Cat Shifter novel up tomorrow. Wow. It seems like just yesterday you were talking about starting it. You're fast. I mean, it wasn't just yesterday, but it feels like it was very recently. So you're fast. Speed of fast. Kara says, you originally created the story with Mark as protagonist, but the way it's working out, the focus is more on Cheryl, so you will vote art museum. Gotcha. Nice. Kate says, good morning and happy Monday and full flower moon. Is that today? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, so I need to remember to do a tarot spread today as well. Thank you for the reminder. I was lost in all the chaos. Monique says voting for the art museum. Nice. Stacey says, honestly, I think each would prefer a different one. Gotcha. Maybe if they're in the same hall, like, or the same building, but different halls, maybe they could go to both. The pretty. I think this is in reference to the earrings. Thank you. Monique says, today, though, you feel like working on villain characters. Ooh, a blue sky had a prompt that asks what your villain's quirks were. Ooh, do you have a quirk in mind? Stacy chose art because it fits the story better. Gotcha. Got it. Even though each one would prefer one or the other. Gotcha. Kara says, today's wake up, kick ass, and repeat card seems appropriate for Cheryl. It says, you will do what queens do and you will rule. Very nice. Monique says, one flaw for book one that you will admit is that the villains are not as fleshed out or developed. It's a process of learning, and I think we only really learn that by writing multiple times and by getting feedback from trusted readers, as well as reading things and like if we enjoy an aspect of it. Like there's one book that I like, there's so much about it that's so cliche, and it's very much sort of like epic fantasy soap opera-esque type stuff, but the pacing is so good. The pacing is just so good, and I find myself like, 500 chapters in, and I'm like, why am I still enjoying this? The pacing is just so good, and it keeps you reading. And so I've marked that particular novel and sort of like tried, or particular series, I guess I should say, and tried to like parse out exactly what it is that makes the pacing so good for that story, because it's freaking fantastic. Anyway, so I keep thinking I hear my phone buzz, but I don't. Kate says it's a rainy day here as well. Great for reading, writing, and baking. Nice. I looked up a recipe yesterday because I honestly wasn't sure if I wanted to do like soup bread bowls or if I wanted to do cornbread. And maybe at some point I will attempt the bread bowls. But it was just easier to do cornbread because I didn't have to wait for like 2 hours for it to rise twice, So Becca says, I'm just so happy it's cooled off. The last 3 days, it got up to 101. Wow. That's hot for early in this, like, it's not even summer yet, but that's hot. And today is currently 67. Yeah, but it's currently 70 here. So we've made it up out of the 50s, which is where it was the last 2 days. So it's slowly warming back up for us. So, but if you're getting another rainy and cool down, then that means we'll get it in a couple of days, maybe. So yeah, I don't know. Weather's weird. Kara says, your son's birthday and Mother's Day are always in close proximity. His birthday is May 8th, and Mother's Day this year was on the 11th. Yeah. Yep. So you got an early birthday present for Mother's Day in 1990. Monique says, however, your focus of My Ex is a Vampire is on your heroes, and you don't know how to characterize your villain when the POV is so focused on your heroes. I think part of that learning process is learning where to slip information in. However, they discover like who it could be, why people are doing things that they are doing, giving them a motivation that feels real, and having the villain truly know the potential consequences of their actions is also something that I feel like is something that is well done, because sometimes you have these caricatures of villains and they have Like there's no real impetus for them to be doing what they're doing. And there's also no forethought or no afterthought of like what happens when you do reach your goal, what then? And also what happens if you fail to reach your goal, what then? Like there's no stakes for the villain. And so I feel like part of having a well fleshed out characterized villain is having a character that knows and truly understands the consequences of their actions, and still choosing to go ahead. But the same can be true of the heroes as well. So Becca says, yum, sounds good. Yeah, it was. It was very tasty. Monique says, drama of the undead will be different, though, because the villains there will be constantly present. Nice. Kara has put away the parabolic heat dishes and gotten out the fans. The little USB desk fan is more powerful than it looks. Oh, nice. That's always good to know. You wrote on the blue sky that Connor's quirk is using his posture to take up space and look intimidating. Okay. There are definitely some people who do that. Catherine's quirk is she likes tarot cards. Nice. Excellent. Okay. So we need the doggos for the day, and we need the card for the day, and then we can get to writing, right? Carla says it's 70 degrees out, but it's still a bit chilly in your office as there are a lot of trees and shade here. Yeah, trees and shade will do it. For sure. Okay, so we have two doggos. We have the weekend doggo for the 10th and 11th. And the doggo's name is Ignacio. He's a professional navigator. Accurately points to which way is north, almost a quarter of the time. So here is Ignacio with the ear pointing in maybe north direction. And then for today, we have Anika. She just got out of her bath, but her ears are still braced for a water landing. Still in watershed mode. Very cute. Ignacio and Anika. Very cute. Could be Annika. Just realizing it. Could be Annika. Today you got the Knight of Wands. Kind of goes along with how you're feeling at the moment. Nice. Today's Wisdom of Pooh card was the sun. Everything's coming up Millhouse, baby. Nice. Very nice. Okay. The Badger. Love it. The Badger is be fearless and bold. It's number 4, in case you need a number. Let's see. We have the Badger. Sorry for clearing my throat, y'all. Be fearless and bold. We have our Badger with the headpiece and the black-eyed Susans. Badger rejoices at your persistence and commitment to what is true for you. Whatever you seek, your tenacity and faith in your partnership with the universe is paying off, and the results will soon coalesce into form in your world. The gift of the Badger is the surety that taking a risk now and being courageous, fearless, and bold will yield wondrous results. This is a time to harness your will and apply it consistently to the pursuit of your dreams. Know that no matter the temporary outer conditions, you will manifest your desires in divine timing and in the form that the Spirit deems best for you. The Badger says you have what it takes to get what you want, so assert yourself. Be fearless and be bold, shining your light as your purpose calls you into the world. New relationships are also given a green light now. Don't be afraid to make the first move. The Badger loves your brave and mighty heart. Love the Badger. Be fearless. Be bold. Go conquer. Go do. Just sort of feels like that kind of a card. You pull the Five of Cups and you intentionally ask the deck what you should focus on in terms of your villains. Ooh, okay. Cups are emotions. Emotions, sweet. And fives are kind of like that temporary pause. It can be a temporary pause, like because of a short-lived victory. Could also be a temporary pause because of a short-lived defeat. So it's like what emotional ruckus is your villain going to cause? And how is that going to shift things going forward? I would think is how I would kind of approach that card. But love the badger. Badger's great. Badger, 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 mushroom, mushroom, snake, snake. Today's enchanted map card is number 53. Listening. An open heart will hear the message. There is a time to speak and a time to listen. Interesting. That feels very not quite the same as the badger. So I don't know. Maybe it's do both. Maybe it's do both. Both the listening and the doing. Okay, I've pulled up a document that I think I'm going to work on. I have re-outlined the novella that I've been working on. I'm still not quite happy with the outline, so I'm going to try it, and if I'm not getting anywhere, I may shelve this project and switch to something else. But we shall see. Okay, so hedgehog. 1, save your document. 2, make sure you have something to hydrate with. Cheers. Stay hydrated. 3 is straighten your spine or roll your shoulders back for that posture check. Make sure you're not slouching too much because we generally do slouch. 4 is make sure if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. 30 minutes with our cute little hedgehog in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. How'd we do? I got 226 words added to the document. I also updated my bullet journal. How'd we do? Also, so this is currently sold out, but let me show you the thing that I am hoping to get once it gets back in stock. Because I keep thinking about it and I'm like, oh, this would make a really cool spread for journaling. Anyway, so it's from Journal Say. me see if I can get this to present share screen. There we go. Okay, so they're having a sale, but under the new in, they get stuff every week. But there's one that was a couple weeks ago, and I wish so hard that I had seen it, because I don't check it every Saturday. But like, look at this. Isn't it cool? Those dragons. And like in a very like tealy, turquoisey, and gold. I love it. I want it so much, but they're sold out. So I've put myself on the email list for when it comes back into stock. But like, look how cool. I have found like these same images on Etsy in terms of like decoupage paper, but this is specifically in a washi roll. So I don't know whose art this is. It looks, if I'm going to be honest, it looks AI rather than like one specific artist, but I don't know. But it's pretty and I want it. But it's not in stock at the moment. So so if you want to join me on the email list for when this comes back into stock, because I'm like, oh, I could build a whole theme around this tape, and probably will once it comes back into stock, because I'm sure they have some like I know they have some like framework and lace and stuff that would go with this, but I'm just like, I want it. It's so pretty. So that's what I've been drooling over. So yes, no, I want it too. Exactly. Exactly. And it's, it's not super high priced. I have found one other, like by using Google Lens, there's one other store that has it, but it's also out of stock. The French store has it. So if you're in France, or can use the French, I don't know how that works. I don't think they would let me ship it from France to the US for $3. But so the French store is still in stock, or at least it was yesterday. But the global store is out of stock. So anyway, I must pull other people into my misery of not being able to buy the pretty things. But yeah, so also congrats to Carla. The edits are done. So now it's time to throw everything into Pro Writing Aid, but they're basically done, which is awesome. It's amazing. Awesome. Okay, so Monique was saying, if your character is stubborn and arrogant, does that count as a quirk? When I hear the word quirk, I think more of behavioral instead of personality or like character traits. So like more like things they do rather than, but yeah. So I suggested things like always wearing purple, ending sentences with a tongue click, or always making sure you're facing the door. But this article covers personality quirks as well as behavioral quirks. So if you need a list of like just random quirks to pull from, here's an article that has like 200 and some. So, and using the list, you think Desdemona would be the type to think with her emotions, and Catherine's quirk would be that outside of school she dresses in goth or emo style. Gotcha. So now you're working on Desdemona's character profile. Stacy ate lunch. Excellent. What was for lunch? My lunch was a black bean and chipotle veggie burger, with rice and cheese on a tortilla. I just smeared the beans around. Made it more of a taco-esque thing. Um, Becca got 386 words. Nice. Very nice. Monique is also gonna go make lunch, so you're gonna do your self-promo. Excellent. And right now you have Desdemona's Enneagram and Myers-Briggs Personality Trait Index. And notes on her overall end game. Nice. Spoilers. Also, like, Desdemona is a name that I do not hear or see that often. I think I've only run across like maybe 2 or 3 books. Yeah, I think maybe only 2 or 3 books where Desdemona is a character's name. And in one book they always called her Desi. And then so like the male lead was the only one to call her by her full name or whatever. So but yeah. So it's a rare name, at least that I have come across. Rachel says you're about to grab lunch next round, so leaving us up while we do that. Excellent. Yes, food for the brain. Essentially, her goal is to elevate the Texas Vampire Court to become a main house. Think the vampire equivalent of having Texas secede the Union. Nice. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and do another sprinty sprint. And I will see if I can get a larger chunk of work done. All right. We did the hedgehog. Let's do the bear hugs. Also, second sprint is the self-promo sprint, so make sure you do the self-promo. And 1 is save your document. Make sure you save it. 2 is make sure you have something to hydrate with. Go ahead and take a sip. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine or roll your shoulders back for that posture check. Make sure you're not slouching too much. And 4 is make sure if you need a break, take a break. Here we go, 30 minutes. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Um, Carla, your link did not come through properly. There we go. Thank you. Ooh, pretty. Here we go. I'll show you what we're looking at here. Cute. Very cute. Could go with lots of things in terms of neutrality, but nice. Here's a image of it on the paper. Very nice. Very nice. How we doing? I got 403 that time. Not bad. Better, anyway. Better. Let's see. Scroll. Where were we? Paget is here. Might be a little bit lurky, though. But every time you say that, you end up in a discussion with other people. So either way, welcome. Kara is here. He says, here's the Reader's Roost new book promos are up. And you're also running a special on alpha and beta reading and editing services. Very nice. Megan is here for a moment. Started on your geography notes a little earlier than usual, so you're feeling ahead of the game. Excellent. You have 5 tests this week, just in geography. Oh, goodness. Tests? Not quizzes. You're feeling a little bit of pressure. Wow. That's a lot of tests in 1 week. Is it because you're nearing finals? And like they're doing a recap test on each of the units or something? But only a little bit of pressure because after your grade was adjusted for extra credit, you have a 99 in the class. Awesome. It's great. Carla says, if you want a notification for the Cat Shifter or to check out the other books, follow Carla's pseudonym TC Cardella on Amazon. There's the link. Sorry, my nose is itching. Kara says, good grief, I'm tired today. I did not sleep well last night. You had an episode of sleep paralysis. Ooh, which always makes it hard to go back to sleep. Yeah, I'm sorry. Those are not fun. Jody says, Tanner left for boot camp and you are a crying mess. Oh no. Trying to keep busy. You're super proud of your Marine RCT. Keep the tissues and the hydration close by because you will probably need both. But hopefully we can help you keep busy. Person eating blue spaghetti is the okay, let me see if I can get this to share right. Here we go. So this is what they're calling person eating blue spaghetti. But it's a blue person eating spaghetti. YouTube is weird. YouTube and StreamYard is weird, y'all. Anyway. Carla suggests whiskey. And Jody's like, I do need a whiskey. And this was where Carla sent the information about the 2 washi tapes we looked at. Kate got 466 words, not 46 words, 466. Very nice. Lexi, amazing, 1,834. That's fantastic. Becca is almost finished with a chapter. Ooh, nice. Hopefully the next sprint. Excellent. Here's the link specifically to the 2 washi tapes. Stacy is still working on the database. You had a busy weekend and didn't even turn on your computer, but now you have to refresh that tab again. Oh no. It seems like that's half of what you do for that database is refresh the tab. Funky is here. Howdy, folks. Hello. Welcome. Kate you're almost so close to your 25,000. You'll be working on that today. Next sprint, you're going to go and work on your planners. Excellent. Sounds like a plan. Funky says, good news. I'm actually able to write my own stuff today. Excellent. Good, good. They're from H.J. Ford's illustrations from the Olive and Purple. Oh, yes. Olive and Purple fairy books from Andrew Lang. Where to put them? Where are they? I have, oh, they're up there. Under about 8 other books. So I have the full collection from Andrew Lang, but they're like coffee table book sized. They're massive. I bought them from Amazon. Let me see if they still have them. They're massive. Here. Okay, let me give you the link. Okay, so present, share screen, share string. Anyway, this is the Fairy Tale Books Collection 1, and then there's the Collection 2. So altogether, they're like 55 books. But they're massive. They are, well, so that like they feel massive, I guess I should say, but they're 8.5 by 11. So they're the size of, like, the cover is the size of a regular computer paper sheet, which is large for a paperback. But yeah, so if you want to have all of them in 2 coffee table book sized, I describe them as coffee table book size because they're just massive compared to most books, most paperback books. Carla says to Jody, you'll get through this. It is tough, but you will get through. Your nephew was the last person who should have been a Marine, and he nailed it. Nice. Sir thinks too much. I still love your name. You're only able to pop by for about 20 minutes today. 303 words. Very nice. Very good. Stacy is finally back to where you need to be. At least you're in the R authors. Nice. Excellent. Good job. All right, let's go ahead and do a 3rd sprint. I think we'll be able to do a 4th sprint today because Mom is currently out thrift shopping, so we're not celebrating her birthday at the moment. So I think we can get away with doing an extra sprint today, which would be nice. Okay, let's go ahead and we did the hedgehog. We did the bear hugs. Let's do the waterfalls. Okay. All right. 1, save a document. 2, take a sip. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine, roll your shoulders back for that posture check. And 4 is make sure if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. 30 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. I got 525. So slowly creeping up. Um, but I also got slightly distracted and I went and looked up I looked up like the giant list of tropes for romance in particular. Um, but then I was like, "Ooh, I could make a game out of this." And so I just kind of wanted. I popped a copy of um, the. Let me just show you what I've done. What have I done? So on Kindlepreneur or whatever, um, there's a list of romance tropes. This is essentially the same list with like I think one or two changes. But I put a link to the original article here. But my idea was that I could just make a game out of this. And so there are 12 okay, how do I move myself from Okay, let me just do this real quick. Goodbye me. Um So on the screen, you can see the navigation pane over here. There are 12 categories. So there's like the most popular, then there's character dynamics, and then just a bunch of other ones. But each category has its own list of numbers. So essentially, you'd go to someplace like rolladie.net and you'd roll, a 12-sided dice. And let's say you got number 4 because that's the last number from Lexi. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you'd be in the forced proximity category. And then you would roll again. And let's see. Sir Thinks Too Much had 303 last time, so let's do number 3. They'd be trapped in a cabin. So, so it's like, okay, and what else besides forced proximity, trapped in a cabin? Somebody's lying. So if you decided you wanted to do like deception and secrets, you'd roll again, and Lexi got number 17, which is forbidden love interest. Okay, so you're trapped in a cabin with a forbidden love interest. And if you wanted to know like professional settings, if you wanted to know like give them a profession, you'd roll down here. So there's a lot of potential to be had for funsies with that. So I stuck that in the free resource folder, but you can also just go look up the romance trope list from Kindlepreneur and do the same thing on your own. But I just stuck it in there because I was like, oh, this is fun. So yeah. So there's that. Funky reread and edited a previous chapter before getting into the new one. It's amazing to me that your characters can make you cry. Yeah. Yeah. What an odd bit of magic writing is. It's a very odd magic, but it's fantastic at the same time because it's magic. Lexi says 1,734 at that time. Nice. Funky says, I think we should all write a mosaic short story together from random tropes on there. I mean, it could be really fun. And I'm assuming that you like could absolutely do the same thing with like going to collect tropes from like sci-fi and putting all those in a list and categorizing them and rolling and doing about 5 of those, it would be great. Again, I think you would lean more than into sort of like space opera, where it would be soap opera just set in space and all kinds of epic shenanigans going on. But it could be really fun. It could be really fun. So yeah. So if it's there, if you want to play with it, or you could just go to the Kindlepreneur. Here, let me pop that in the. Here's the original list / article by Dave Chesson, and here's the um, roll a die, which I'm sure there are other websites that you can do that with. Um, so anyway, there's something to waste your time with. A little bit of a time sink there. Just creating lists and categories and then rolling. Because I've seen people do this with like when they get their nails done. They'll roll a die to see like what themes, what colors, which one's going to be like fancy accent nails, or which ones are going to have jewels. I've seen people do that for their nails, and I'm like, well, we could do that with stories too. Just kind of like idea generation fun. So that's kind of excuse me. Ooh, AI is coming to kill me because I'm trying to type their ideas. Not really, but oh goodness, choked on some air there. But anyway, it was just a fun idea that I had. Hopefully, you think it's fun as well. Um, but it's just an idea of like, oh hey, here's these giant lists because I'm sure that there are other articles on like sci-fi and mystery tropes. Um, and so it's like, yeah, we could absolutely do this. Um, or if you have a like story that is both romance and mystery, and sci-fi or fantasy, you could combine tropes from all of them. So it could be really fun. Anyway, I wonder if there's somebody who set up a website for that. Now, or an app, like you just hit a button, like, give me a trope, give me an occupation, give me a setting. It could be really fun. Funky says, speaking of tropes, I'm reading what is basically fantasy Suicide Squad, and it's delightful. Nice. Nice. Congrats to Becca for finishing the chapter. That means that both Carla finished editing and Becca finished the chapter. Lexi's always chugging along with really great numbers. Funky edited a chapter. We're all making real great progress. Doing good. All right. Let's go ahead and do a bonus sprinty sprint because we have time today. I think I'm going to go down for the 25-minute beach timer. All right. Let's do this. 1, save your document. 2, make sure you take a sip. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine. Roll your shoulders back for that posture check. Make sure you're not slouching too much. And 4 is, if you need a break, take a break. See you later, Kate. 25 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. How did we do? I didn't do great that time. I got about 150 more words. Um, but not great. But it's okay. I Progress is progress. Keep telling myself that. Progress is progress. It's okay. um, Carla was talking about title options. Stacy is tired, but has found out one of the reasons why you're so tired lately is you are apparently anemic. So the doctor is figuring out uh, what to do option wise for that. Carla says the Bears series was all bound by, and the cats you were thinking were going to be claimed by, but you're not sure if claimed was the right word. But I kind of liked that you had like bears were bees and cats would be C's, kind of like that. So then I started giving some options, like if you don't like claimed, what about challenged or called or chained? But since I don't know plans for the characters and whatnot, which one would fit better? But wound up saying you liked called by. And then Jody was like, I think your mic is on, or the raccoon is back on the porch. And then it was the raccoon. And I thought you were talking about my raccoon. And I was like, where's the raccoon in my room? Because we just discovered we have a raccoon in the back. And that was about, 5 minutes or under 5 minutes from me putting out the failed cornbread yesterday to when the raccoon was nomming on it under the bird feeder. It's a terrible picture, but yeah. So less than 5 minutes. Carla says, I like trash pandas, just not on your deck or your backyard, but from a distance they're cute. They are, but they are also like one of the more likely critters to carry rabies. So you do have to be careful with them. And so now I think we're going to have to sort of like maybe knock off feeding the birds so much, at least right next to the deck. Jody says, this one is a pain in your ass. He eats the monkey grass in your front yard. You mean with the little, well, they are omnivorous. Omnivorous. So maybe he wants the fiber, like maybe something was bothering its stomach and wanted to like, I don't know. No idea. But he lays on your front porch like he owns it. Oh no. Oh no. Here's where I suggested some options for Carla's titles: called by duty, called by faith, heart, secret, deceptions, intrigues, lust, desire, fire, earth, home. So many options. Jody suggested called by destiny. Nice. Called by fate would be another one that's very similar. This is where I mentioned that. Lexi got 1,326 done in 25 minutes. Amazing. Amazing, amazing. Funky got some editing done. Fantastic. Stacy says, I forgot how many R's. Yeah. R is a pretty common letter for last names to begin with. You are passing the last name of Ross. Hopefully you can get through all of the R's before you leave for Scouts tonight. Nice. Stacy says, claim doesn't work for cats because they do the claiming. Kara had to fight with your tech. You are afraid you're going to have to restart because everything was freezing up. Fortunately, when you closed OBS, it helped. Yeah, OBS takes a lot of my computer's brain power. Like a lot. Which I think is one of the reasons why I have not been able to get OBS to work properly. Even though I have a gaming computer, like a gaming laptop, it should be fine. But at the same time, it's like struggle-us always. Kara says, we've got raccoons in this town. Fortunately, they've never chewed through the trash can like they did the compost when you lived in the mobile home. Goodness gracious. Yeah, they will eat just about anything. And I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen them around. Like, I mean, I know they're around because we have woods. But we just have never seen one. Um, but then my dad today mentioned my mom has like really, really crazy dreams. And so when we first moved into the house, she woke up with a nightmare, and her nightmare, she said there was a raccoon staring in the window at her. Um, but we all just thought it was, you know, just one of her dreams again. But then dad was like, well, maybe, maybe she wasn't dreaming. Maybe there was in fact a raccoon peering at the window. So yeah, but who knows? But that was the first time we had seen one out in the daytime. I mean, we see them as like roadkill, sort of like on the main roads, but yeah, we had not seen one around. But we did see him go disappear sort of like around the corner of the shed, and we're hoping he's not making a home in the shed. uh, oh well. Oh well. All right, y'all. I did get a decent amount of words all total today between all the sprints. I'll probably still be working a little bit this afternoon and into this evening after I celebrate with mom for dinner for her birthday. She's 1 year older. 1 year older. But yeah. So, all right, y'all. Thank you very much for joining me today. Don't forget to save. Make sure you save. Make sure you stay hydrated. And oh wait, poll. I forgot the last time too. I'm sorry. Last time it was 60% future, 40% past. Which would you rather? Which would your character rather see? Anyway, today's is, would your main character rather go to an art museum or a tech exhibit? 66% would rather go to an art museum, and 33% would rather go to a tech exhibit. There we go. There's the answer for today's poll. All right. Thank you very much for joining me. I will see y'all soon. Bye.